Football can be a cruel mistress sometimes. Just when a player is mentally at their peak, their legs often give out on them. Whether it's the ankles, the knees, or just that yard of pace, something normally gives way and the player is forced to hang up their boots. It can be very difficult for players to know when to call it a day then, and that's why we sometimes see them make a return to the game after their initial retirement. Some players' comebacks are incredibly brief and at very low levels. Brazilian legend Socrates, for instance, played just 12 minutes in the 8th tier of English football with Garforth Town, 10 years after he'd originally called it a day. And this week it was reported Paul Merson would come out of retirement to play in the Welsh 4th tier, not the first time the former gunner has made a return to the game. Here though, we wanted to look at some players who returned and actually played a fair bit of football at a decent level. Here are our 7 footballing legends who came out of retirement. Marc Overmars. We kick off this 7 with Marc Overmars, and he's a good place to start, since Overmars played a full season after coming out of retirement at a decent but not spectacular level. A former Champions League winner who was part of an extraordinary squad at Ajax before impressing at Arsenal and making a lucrative move to Barcelona, Overmars won 86 caps for the Netherlands. He retired in 2004, aged 31, following persistent injury problems. In the summer of 2008 though, Overmars appeared in Jaap Stam's testimonial, and he did so well against a number of active players, the talk of a return to football began. Overmars ended up joining Go Ahead Eagles, who'd been his first pro club as a player, and he spent a single season there, playing 24 games, but eventually retiring once more as his injuries returned. George Best. Manchester United legend George Best first announced his retirement from football in 1972, aged 26, having just been the club's top scorer for a 3rd consecutive season. He will continue playing for the Red Devils until 1974, when he said he was done with the game once more. Ultimately, Best's retirements never lasted long, up until the last one of course, although he did continue to fall down the footballing pyramid. The Northern Irish star, who'd won the First Division title, the European Cup and a Ballon d'Or, all by the time he was 22, lacked the desire and dedication to remain at the highest level, and he was playing little more than non-league standard football at 28. He went on to impress in America with the LA Aztecs and the San Jose Earthquakes, as well as playing a couple of seasons in the old 2nd Division with Fulham. Tasha Kai. The women's game doesn't seem to get much representation here on HITC Sevens, so we're changing that with the inclusion of Tasha Kai in this 7. A talented athlete, Kai began playing for the United States women's national team just a year after leaving college, having scored 72 goals in 73 games in her college career. She went on to score 37 goals from 67 caps for her country, and for those of you currently thinking she isn't a football legend, she was the first Hawaiian-born player to feature for the US in a World Cup and won Olympic gold in 2008. She retired from football to try her hand at rugby in 2011, where she also gained international honours, representing the US in the 2011 Sevens Challenge Cup in Dubai. She made a return to football in 2016 with Sky Blue FC in the women's top flight. Romario. Romario seems to be criminally underrated by football fans today. The Brazilian maestro is quite simply one of the greatest footballers to have ever lived. Devilishly clever, brilliant on the ball, and devastating in front of goal, Romario is just about the perfect striker. He scored 679 goals in 886 games over the course of his career, and 55 goals in 70 games for Brazil. A legend of the game, Romario never quite seemed ready to give it up. He looked to have retired in 2004, aged 38, but returned in 2005 with Vasco, only to score 22 goals in 31 games that season, and 19 in 25 a year later in Miami. He announced that he was to retire for good in 2008, but still returned to play once for America of Rio in 2009. So we would say Romario finally retired age 43, but we still can't be sure he won't be back again sometime. Pele. From one world-class Brazilian forward to another, and Pele is arguably the greatest of them all. A force of nature on a football pitch, Pele scored 643 goals in 656 games for Santos, and 77 goals in 92 games for Brazil, winning a record 3 World Cup titles. He retired from competitive football, having spent his entire career with Santos in 1974, but came out of retirement in 1975 to join the New York Cosmos. Pele was 34 by this time and past his prime, but still very fit and more than good enough to play in the North American Soccer League, or any league for that matter. He spent 2.5 years with the Cosmos, scoring 64 goals in 107 games, helping the team win the Soccer Bowl in 1977. Paul Scholes. Okay, so Paul Scholes only played a season and a half following his comeback, but he played a key role in Manchester United winning a Premier League title, and that earns him a place in second in this 7. A classy midfield operator, Scholes was one of the finest passers of a ball of his generation, and he won everything on offer at Old Trafford in a tremendous career spanning almost 2 decades. Having retired at the end of the 2010-11 season, Sir Alex Ferguson convinced him to change his mind 8 months later due to an injury crisis. He made 42 appearances following his return, scoring 5 goals, as United won the league title in his final season at the club. Johan Cruyff. You could make a pretty mean-looking 5 or 6-a-side team, taking your pick of the players from this 7, and Johan Cruyff is another all-time great who makes his way in. Not only is he in, but he takes top spot, and deservedly so. Cruyff first retired in 1978 after 5 years with Barcelona at age 31. Despite having made millions during his time at Ajax and Barcelona, Cruyff found himself in financial trouble following some dodgy investments, and he returned to football in 1979 in the lucrative North American Soccer League. He played for the LA Aztecs, followed by the Washington Diplomats, and he was clearly still a brilliant player. He returned to Europe in 1981, and after almost signing for Leicester City, he joined Levante. He had disagreements with the club though, and ended up playing just 10 league games in his return to Spain. His next move was a return to Ajax, where he spent 2 seasons, winning the league on both occasions and the cup once. Cruyff was hurt when Ajax decided not to offer him a new contract after such success, and he signed for arch rivals Feyenoord. Ajax's loss was Feyenoord's gain, and in a single season with the club, Cruyff was outstanding. Feyenoord won a league and cup double, and Cruyff was named Dutch Footballer of the Year, aged 37, a great player signing off in style. So that's it for our top 7. Leave your feedback in the comments, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to HITC Sevens.